Screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Please proceed, sir. Wait. Introduction.
Good morning, everyone. So, on behalf of Rajarashri College of Engineering, ACT Online ATAL FDP, so I welcome all the participants for the second session of day 3. Now, with us, Dr. V.R. Pramod is going to deliver a lecture on JIT and Kaizen in lean manufacturing. Dr. V.R. Pramod is currently working as a professor in Mechanical Engineering Department of NSS College of Engineering, Palakkad. He holds a BEd degree in Mechanical Engineering, a MTech in Manufacturing, MTech in Maintenance Engineering and Management from IIT Madras, and PhD in Supply Chain Management from IIT Delhi. He produced 7 PhDs. He has 7 years of industry experience and 21 years of teaching experience. He has published over 100 papers. His current areas of research interest include maintenance quality, supply chain management, telecom logistics, and service management. Sir, welcome you for the session, sir. It's over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your nice introduction. Let me start the talk.
Thank you, sir.
Because JIT and Kaizen in lean manufacturing. First, I will explain about JIT, then Kaizen and lean manufacturing. Let us see that perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. That is given by Pins Lombardi. Therefore, always we are, not only always we are, and all industrialists and all the researchers are always trying for perfection. Just in time means we are calling it as JIT, is an inventory management method in which goods are received from suppliers only as they are needed. Whenever we need something, at that time we will manufacture something. That's called JIT. The main objective of this method is to reduce inventory holding costs and increase the inventory turnover. Therefore, a corporate system that is to be designed to produce output within the minimum lead time and at the lowest total cost. Let us see the importance of just-in-time. Just-in-time requires carefully planning the entire supply chain and usage of the superior software in order to carry out the entire process till delivery. Therefore, we have to consider from starting, that is from supplier production system until the delivery points. Therefore, it increases and eliminates the scope for error as each process is monitored. Here are some of the important effects of a just-in-time inventory management system. First is it reduces the inventory waste. Inventory means for anything we have to make some investment. Therefore, many industries, if we are not planning well, it will go for waste. Therefore, just-in-time strategy eliminates overproduction. It happens when the supply of an item in the market exceeds the demand. It leads to an accumulation of unsuitable inventories. When inventories are not planned well, many of the inventories will get idle. Some problems like bullwhip effect, these problems will make a big loss to the organization. These unusable products turn into inventory dead stock, which increases the waste and consume inventory space. Not only that, we have to lose our space also. Finally, all these things will come as waste. In just-in-time system, you order only what you need. So there is no risk of accumulating unusable inventory. Always, warehousing is expensive. And excess inventory can double your holding cost. In just-in-time system, warehouse holding costs are kept a minimum because you order only when your customer places an order. Your item is already sold before it reaches you.
Yeah, so Pramod sir, wait, I think. Pramod sir.
Tell me, sir.
I think the slide is not changing. 1 minute, please wait.
Okay, sir.
Okay, please proceed, sir.
Okay, sir. A good GT system decreases the warehouse holding cost. Always warehousing is expensive and excess inventory can double your holding cost. In just-in-time system, warehouse holding costs are kept to a minimum. In actual just system, we don't want any warehouse. By morning, whatever we want to be produced, that has to be the raw material has to come, and evening it has to be taken by the customer. There should not be any warehouse. There should not be any storage also. Because you order only when your customer places an order. Your item is already sold because for it reaches you. So there is no need to store your items for long. There should not be any storage for ideal disk system. Companies that follow the just-in-time inventory model will be able to reduce the number of items in their warehouse or eliminate the warehouse altogether. This gives the manufacturer more control in the production. In the JIT model, manufacturer has complete control over the manufacturing process, which works on demands on pull basis. Pull basis means when the manufacturer wants something and we are supplying it. Push system, there are two systems are there. One is called pull system and second is called push system. Push system forces the product to a manufacturer, whereas pull system manufacturer get attracted with the product and actually purchase it. That is the ideal one. They can respond to customers' needs by quickly increasing the production for an in-demand product and reducing the production for slow-moving items. This makes the JIT model flexible and able to cater over changing market needs. For example, Toyota doesn't purchase raw material until an order is received. When the order is received, then only they will go for raw material. Therefore, there is no storage. That is the ideal case. This has allowed the company to keep minimal inventory. There is no storage. No storekeeper is required. No storage is required. Company can save a lot. Thereby, reducing the cost and enabling to quickly adapt to changes in demand without having to worry in the existing inventory. But in some systems, if the JIT is not planned, supplier has to, I will say that supplier has to give me in the morning exactly at 8 o'clock this item. Sometimes supplier has to come and wait. That is a bad effect of this system. That should not happen. The supplier will charge more to us. That we have to plan very well in this system, because this is a Japanese strategy. When we are implementing in the traditional system, some pitfalls can come that we have to be very careful. It's one pitfall what I told. Next is local sourcing. Just-in-time requires you to start manufacturing only when the order is placed. You need to source your raw material locally as it will be delivered to you until much earlier. Because tomorrow I want this much of item. Therefore, I have to find my supplier locally. That is the easiest way. That's why supplier also has to be of good quality. Also, local sourcing reduces transportation time and cost which is involved. This Indian provides the need for many complementary business to run in parallel, thereby improving the employment rates in that particular demographic. Next slide. Smaller investments, that is another advantage. In JIT model, only essential stocks are obtained and therefore less working capital is needed for finance purposes. Therefore, because of less amount of stock held in the inventory, the organization's return on investment will be high. What return on investment is whatever we are investing, how fast we can get it back. That is return on investment. The just-in-time model uses right first time. That is, first time itself you have to do the right thing. Concept, whose meaning is to carry out activities right the first time when it is done, thereby reducing inspection and rework. These two are post aspect of a company. One is inspection cost. Then at that, after inspection, lot of things will get damaged. We can observe that many damages are there. Then we will go for rework. That is costly for organization. Therefore, the right first term is inspection cost can be reduced and rework cost can be reduced. This requires less amount of investment for the company and less money is reinvested. Reinvestment means when trouble is there, then we have to do the rework for rectifying the errors and more profit generated out of selling an item. This concept we are calling a zero defect concept. Whatever item we are making, that is zero. Therefore, we have to make an agenda. Do not manufacture, do not purchase a defect or failure. Do not manufacture a failure or defect, and do not sell a failure or defect. This you have to be very careful in this system. Next slide, please. How does just-in-time work? This is the usual model of a JIT system. That is, customer places an order. Manufacturer receives the order. Manufacturer orders the material required. Product from the supplier. Supplier receives the order. Supplier delivers the material required. Product received by the manufacturer. Manufacturer assembles the product from the materials received. And manufacturer fulfills the order and finally customer receives the product. This is the ideal case of a JIT framework works. Next slide, sir. Let's see how a just-in-time model works. First, a customer places an order in the manufacturer. Customer gave an order. When the manufacturer receives the order, they place an order with the suppliers. The supplier receives the order and then supplier manufactures the material to meet the customer order. Raw materials are received with the manufacturer, assembled and sold to the customer. In that way, process is very fast and customer will get the products very fast. Therefore, lead time will be less. Lead time is the time between the order is placed to the time when the order is received. Therefore, lead time will be very less and customer will get the actual product what the customer wants. When in a production, a lot of waste are coming. We can categorize the time into 7 ways. Earlier it was called 6 ways, but now some more items are come, some more categories come. But now we are considering 7 types of waste. In Japanese philosophy, we were saying 6 big waste. Yes, one more is there. Transportation waste, process waste. Transportation waste means the method of transportation. If unwanted transportation is occurring, that is transportation waste. Process waste, unwanted process is occurring. Inventory waste, unwanted inventory is procured and inventory is not properly utilized. Unwanted movements, product defects, wait in time. That is, bottlenecks has to be eliminated in the production and overproduction. Overproduction was not considered in that Japanese philosophy. Therefore, they will consider only 6 weeks and they used to call it as 6 big losses. Objectives of JIT, you need to produce only when those products that customer wants. Whatever customer wants only we have to produce.
Pramod sir, wait, the slide is not changing 1 minute.
Next slide, sir.
Wait, the slide is not changing 1 minute. I'll check it.
Please, sir. Objectives of JIT.
Okay.
Correct, sir.
Okay, sir, please proceed.
There are 5 objectives are there. You need to produce only when products that customer wants. And produce with perfect quality. Whatever you are producing, that has your perfect quality. Some philosophy like 6 Sigma, you have to adopt. Produce with a minimum lead time. Produce products only those features that customer wants. That happens in many times. When you are procuring a computer or mobile phone, all features you don't want. And we are paying for that. This is happening for when a customer is procuring any products. Customer is paying for those things which customer doesn't want also. For it is the competency of the manufacturer to provide the customer the product with the features only customer wants, that the cost can be reduced and customer will be happy. And it can, therefore, we can make the products only at the rate of customer needs. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Just-in-time philosophy is the philosophy of just-in-time can be tracked by Henry Ford. We can see that Henry Ford was come with you can have a car as long as it is black. But formalized with JIT organized in Japan with the Toyota production system. After that, Edward Jennings lessened the variable reduction was huge influence. Deming is famous for plan to check acts and TQM Tulsa procedures quality. In JIT, we have to follow 7 zeros. One is 7 zero lot size. That is to avoid delays in batching. 0 defects. Quality at the source. When the quality has to be implemented at the source itself, there won't be any defects. Defects can be missed. That is when you are procuring itself the raw material, source means that part. Our product will be defect free. So the quality has to be checked through from the customer, from the supplier, under the production system. Then 0 breakdown to avoid stopping tightly coupled lines. There should not be any breakdown. 0 surging. There should be necessary for the system without work in process inventory buffers. 0 setups. Allow production small loads to minimize the setup delay. 0 handling to promote the flow of parts. 0 lead time. Rapid replenishment of part must be ensured. As soon as the customer is ordering the thing, soon we can deliver. That is our competency. Next slide, sir. Constraints of controls. When we are implementing, we will face some constraints. One is machine setup times. When a machine is starting, it will take some time to give the good products. So that some setup adjustments will come. That how efficiently we can minimize, that is our efficiency, competency. Machine setup time has to be minimized. For that, some methods like single minute exchange, SRBD, such philosophies are there. Vendor delivery. Vendor means suppliers. Supplier also has to give us good quality raw materials. Because supplier has to be selected in a good way. There some methods are there for supplier selection, vendor selection, minimize the number of vendors. Some methods like milkman system, etc. are there. That only some limited suppliers will be there. That supplier will supplies all the items which are required for production. Quality levels, that is scrap and rework, should be minimized. Product design and product schedules, example, customers' due dates. Differences between traditional manufacturing and JIT manufacturing. Next slide, sir. Let us see how the traditional manufacturing differs from JIT manufacturing. In traditional manufacturing, the goal is by minimizing disruptions, you can minimize the production. Management assumption is that we can sell what we make. That is how competent is the management. We can sell what we make. Manufacturing objectives. Spread resource evenly. That is, we have to make a proper line balancing. That means there should not be any bottleneck in production. How efficiently we can balance our line production without any bottleneck. Dependable and efficient operations, that is automation and forecasting, how efficiently we can do. And decoupled operation, line pacing and extensive scheduling. In JIT manufacturing, the goal, sir, next slide, sir. In JIT manufacturing, goal is to produce goods that are ready to sell quickly and efficiently. Management assumption is that we can make what we sell. And the manufacturing objectives are there. Flow manufacturing, we can avoid that. Group technology or cellular manufacturing and cross-trading. That is, there we can utilize a similarity of the products. When we watch a product which is made by the manufacturer will produce many items are there, but there will be some similarity. Recently, I had done some research in agricultural equipment. When we observe that, many similarities are there in the operations of the for making the tools. That we can exploit and making it as a cluster or cells. That production efficiency can be increased. Level production with the visual controls are JIT, statistical process control, SPC. Kanban. Kanban is a Japanese word for symbol. In any production system, when it is running, no need of intimating the manager when the process defects are there. They can intimate by means of some red tag, yellow tag, green tag, etc. The manager has a first look at it, some problem is there, how it can be repaired. After repairing, we will put green tag and they can show that problem is rectified. Next is clean up the workspace. 5 years that we will discuss in the last session. And manpower, because of efficient management, we can reduce some manpower. And automation, we can reduce some manpower. Next slide, sir. Tactics of just-in-time stock replenishment. Use pull system to move the inventory. That I have discussed. We have discussed that. What is pull system and push system? Pull system forces the customer to procure our product. Push system forces the customer to procure our product. And pull system, customer will attract with the product and procure our product. That is, pull system is the ideal one. Reduce lot size. Reduce setup time. Setup time is a time which is required for setting up the product when size changing is occurring or new product is manufactured. And when company is producing same item in different sizes, when size changes are occurring, setup time will come. That we can eliminate by SMD or single minute exchange die. But some adjustments are required. That is loss for organization. Develop a JIT delivery system with suppliers. And supplier also has to cooperate with it and they have to produce at the right time, our raw material. Deliver directly to the point of use. And because this in between, they generally in a traditional system, when we are producing something, there will be some wholesalers are there, retailers are there, shopkeepers are there, finally customer is procuring. All are getting their profit and finally customer has to pay a lot. This is not the idea one. Directly we can give it a sales point and no storage is required. And perform the schedule and reduces the setup time and use group technology. Next slide, sir. Advantage of JIT manufacturing. In the JIT manufacturing, we can see constant production rates. Whatever we want, that only we will produce. And if we want some excess, we can do it by some overtime. And at that time we can increase the labor force, etc. That period only, or peak periods only. That is called peak demand management. Some techniques are there. But generally, we will show consistency in the production. No storage. There, sometimes we get an additional order. Company should not leave it. That competence of the organization to procure sudden and expected, handle sudden and expected what is called responsiveness. Company has to do responsive. But general case, company has to do constant production. In JIT manufacturing, there is less manpower is required because that people are continuously doing that thing and they are well trained people. Therefore, we can say that we can make what we can sell. Only we will do. That only we will make. That is, if the product required in the next stage only, when it will produce so that quality of wastage is zero. There is zero wastage. Next slide, please. For in the long run, we can see a low production rate, less time required to manufacture a product, and more importantly, it establishes good relationship between customer and the manufacturer. Let's see what are the long run, we can see low production rates. Less time needed to manufacture a product. When we are getting the order, with the minimum time we can make the order. More importantly, it establishes a good relationship between customers and manufacturers. We are not doing any overproduction. But we are getting the order at that time only we start producing. The earlier we are giving it to the customer. Our relationship is good. Customer will have good confidence in that. And they can blindly procure our products. Next slide, sir. It's a disadvantage of this manufacturing. Although this is a very effective method of production, however, still there are some disadvantages of this manufacturing. As the system is based on, we can make what we can sell. That is why sometimes stock or product is limited, or we are making only what we can sell. Therefore, there is no stock for us. The product is went out of stock. Some days, if we are not watching well, we are not watching the market well, product suddenly get out of stock. That's a good opportunity for our competitor to beat us. Therefore, that should not happen. Next slide, sir, please. To make it manufacturing, you have to understand the requirements of each customer and plan accordingly. Customer has to be one click away. Supplier has to be at arm's length. This is a distance you have to keep with customer and supplier. Customer has to be one click away. Supplier has to be arm's length. This distance you got to always keep in this manufacturing. Otherwise, you will fail in the market. Therefore, you should be in close contact with the customer. All the changes in pulse of the customer you have to understand, and in that way, product has to be upgraded. Product features have to be upgraded. Otherwise, you cannot deliver product on time. Because for many of the products are seasonal. At that time, we have to plan accordingly. Let's see all the products, fan, light, any products which customers are using. They are all seasonal. You have to plan for the peak seasons to manage. Just next lesson, please, sir. This is still the drawback of this. Just in time make it very efficient to rework orders. When some defect is coming, it has to be reworked. Or in between you find some defect also has to be reworked. As inventory is kept to a bare minimum and only based on customer original orders. So we will get some time for rework. The model is dependent on supplier's performance and timeline. It is hard to ensure. Supplier has a major role in that way. That is very hard to ensure. Therefore, organization has to be very careful in selecting the suppliers. Because I am making a fan. Fan has approximately 10 products, 10 products are there are manufacturing it. If one supplier one day is not providing me the product, example, one is giving me ceiling fan, one has to provide me, one has to provide me cup, one has to provide me rod, one has to provide me armature. One is not providing, my production will be lost. Therefore, I will allow milk pan system. If I am producing 500 fans per day, I will make 3 supplies. One has to provide me 200, 200 and 100. In that way, if one is failing also, I can run the production. I can do some overtime for emergency things and I can manage it. This is some new systems we can help. Additionally, the manufacturer needs to be able to cover the sudden increases in the price of raw materials, since they cannot wait for order during better price. That's also very important. Price suddenly changes in the raw material. That we have to manage how efficiently. We can see that when you buy some products, last 10 years there is no change in products. How they are managing, we can write some other techniques, some other logistics activities, some other method of modern manufacturing. They are producing the items. Next slide, sir, please, sir. Since JIT model requires a lot of shipping back and forth between supplier, manufacturer, and customer. It can have detrimental effects on the environment due to overconsumption of fossil fuels and packaging. In case of disruptions, a GT model can have a major impact on the business. Since there is no excess stock to fall back on, sales may come to your heart. Because as we are not stocking anything, sales may come to your heart if we are not careful. You have to be very careful in that regard. Next slide, sir. Next slide, please, sir. A just-in-time needs to be carefully tracked and organized, which will be hard if you are doing it manually. Now, some techniques like RFID, we can manage it. And some softwares are also there. Software should be adopted to make it whole process more manageable. You can manage by this. Even though good software help you, it can be tricky or expensive to adopt it. New software system and train your person according to your user. But when software is coming, it's costly for us, and we have to train our people. At that time, when people leave us, a new person has to be brought. He has to be trained. That is a costly aspect for us, but it is a good opportunity for a good manufacturer. Sir, next slide, please. Therefore, just-in-time saves you a lot of cost, which would otherwise be tied up as inventory holding cost. At the same time, just-in-time should be executed carefully so that your business does not face loss of times of unpredictable events. That's also very important. Your business does not face loss in time due to unpredictable events. Some unpredictable events are coming in the business. That is entry of new customers, change in technology, adoption of new software, new product arising in the market. All these should not affect our business. That we can be very vigilant in the market. That we can do by customer one click away and supplier arm's length. Let's go to Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese word. Now, although it is Japanese, now throughout the world, it has a lot of appreciability. Kaizen means continuous improvement. We learn from our children, slow and steady wins the race, or some stories like Hare and the Tortoise. All we are saying as examples of Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese word, change for better or continuous improvement, which is a Japanese philosophy. This is happening to make organizations. It is run like the Hare and Tortoise stories. Hare run very fast and in between is left. Tortoise run on a steady state and finally to win the race. Like companies can win the race by means of slow and steady. Opposite is called innovation. But the innovation we cannot manage well. Now Kaizen is better adopted in the industrial management. Regarding the process that continuously improve operations and involve all employees, Kaizen is to be done as a company-wide activity. It has to be done by incorporating all the employees in the organization. Sir, next slide, sir, please, sir. Kaizen sees improvement in productivity as gradual and methodological process. We have to see manage it as gradual and methodological way. The concept of Kaizen encompasses a wide range of ideas. For managing it efficiently, a wide range of ideas are required. It involves making work environment more efficient and effective by creating team atmosphere and improving everyday process. That is, it can be achieved by means of teamwork. When there's a philosophy called rise in the bottom line. When the bottom line is raised, all naturally top line will be raised. Company can achieve miracles by rising the bottom line. This concept recently in Palakkad Management Association, one PSV man also wrote a book that is very advisable in this that. Dr. PSV Menon, the rise in the bottom line. When the bottom level of the organization is enhanced, naturally top level will be enhanced. For organization has to concentrate at the bottom level first. And by then it has to be enhanced work, it has to be motivated for team activities. That is called by means of synergic effect of many people, new ideas will emerge. Naturally, all organizations will develop. And improving everyday procedure. And ensuring employee engagement and making job more fulfilling and less tiring and safer. Next slide, sir. Lean concepts. Let us go to lean concepts. Or let's have philosophy called lean management. Then organizational culture based on management philosophy and values are matters. Organization has its own culture. Culture in place. How an organization is behaving in a typical situation. Well, lean is a culture of the organization. Unwanted things you do not do. Only whatever we are doing, that will be value added. It strives to contribute to sustainable development of the society and the earth through the manufacturing and provision of high quality and innovative products and services. Lean results in a significant increase in product efficiency and product quality. Whatever we are doing of good quality and production has to be an efficient way. The next slide, please. This is definitions of Kaizen. Over 30 years ago, Masaki Imami sat down to open the groundwork on Kaizen. The Kaizen key to Japanese competitive success discovered macro. Through this book, the Kaizen was introduced in the Western world. Today, Kaizen is regarded worldwide as an important pillar for organization, long-term competitive strategy. When we are implementing a competitive strategy to the organization, it has to be about long term. There are two sort of strategies are there. One is for short-term strategy and long-term strategy. Short-term strategy has to be for short period. That is inside the organization. When it is in the external to the world, that is competitors are facing us, all the strategies have to be long-term. And after some, by means of some improvement also, we can adopt the same strategy in the modified form. Since introducing this term as a systematic approach for business improvement, companies are deploying Kaizen has continuously in superior results. Company has good results by implementing Kaizen. Once I have been visited some industries at Coimbatore in a short-term program conducted by Professor S.R. Devadasan, I observed that some companies at Coimbatore, they are saying that we are getting a lot of benefits through Kaizen. They can reduce the electrical energy, they can reduce, even the employees are giving them us a lot of suggestions by introducing this Kaizen. And good suggestions we are paying also. That is what loss for us, because we are getting a lot of business out of this, lot of profit also. Naturally, other parts of the world also, companies are getting a lot of benefits through Kaizen. And therefore, it became a worldwide accepted strategy. The next slide, please. The Masaki Imai, founder of Kaizen Institute. The institute of Kaizen in Japan. Kaizen means improvement. Moreover, it means continuing improvement in personal life, home life, social life, and working life. That's an important thing. When an employee has to work well or contribute well to the organization, not only at the organization level, we have to concentrate his personal level, home life, social life, and working life. We have to concentrate. An employee has to feel proud that the employee is working in the company. When I am starting an ABC company, and my employees have to say outside the world as pride that I am working in ABC company. That situation I have to make. Their personal life has to be upgraded, home life has to be upgraded, social life has to be upgraded, and then naturally working life will be upgraded. This way I have to concentrate. Then they will yield us more. And for that I need not pay so much. I can make it by proper training, improve the organization culture, etc. is possible. And all the organizations are not getting profit by giving so much to employees, but employees' morale will be increased. And we have to pay also well. When applied to workplace and Kaizen means continuing improvement, improving everyone and managers and markets everywhere. Everybody has to be improved well. Then only company will be improved. And workers, then they will consider work as a part of their worship. Work is worship. We can put placard also. Quality is a policy. Work is worship, etc. We can put placards in and there in the organization. Next slide, sir, please. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Sir, not sir. Core of Kaizen. There are 5 fundamental Kaizen principles that are embedded in every Kaizen rule and every Kaizen behavior. Let's see what are. Know your customer. That's a long philosophy made in Japan. Now also we are giving bank, and all our financial aspect, they are doing KYC. Know your customer. This concept was made very long back in Japan. Letter flow. Go to Jamba. Jamba is a place where customers are taken care. Jamba is a Japanese word. It's a place at which customers are taken care. When we are taking care of customer use, our organization will also be a Jamba. Jamba are people. Organization is made of people. People are rising, organization will be raised. And satisfied employees are productive one. Be transparent. Whatever we are doing, that has to be transparent to employees. Everybody in the organization. Next slide, please, sir. The implementation of these 5 principles in any organization is fundamentally important for successful continuous improvement culture to make turning point in the progression of the quality, productivity, and labor management relations. When these 5 principles are improved, that will act as a pivotal point or turning point that will progress in the quality, productivity, and labor management relations. We are saying that quality is a natural one, and that can be achieved by throughout the organization. And productivity also will be able to satisfy employees a productive one, and labor management relationship is better. That will all enhance the overall competency of the organization. Core competency of the organization will enhance in that way. Sir, next slide, please. Some situations. Don't try to justify the past and the so-called best practices. They are by questioning best practices. And there is no, in the past, when wrong things have happened, and trying to justify the past, there is no meaning also. You have to adopt the best practices in the organization. That's called benchmarking. I want to improve myself. I want to jump 4 feet. Then I have to make a practice benchmark of a person who is jumping 5 feet, and I have to watch how that person is working, how the person is taking the trial, how can I improve from that? In that way, I have to mind. This is called benchmarking. Because marking with a situation which is efficient than our situation and try to adopt it as much as possible. Then change the target. This philosophy is called benchmark or best practice adoption. All organizations' culture, no matter how large, have some kind of tradition and cultural system. When I am manufacturing a company at my hometown, I have to follow some traditional system in the beginning. Then only I can stand with the society. That when I do the same operation some other place, their traditional system will be different. Our Indian culture respect the elders, carry over certain values and best practices. This will be different at some other place. Respect elders is everywhere, but other things will be different. From generation to generation, we have adopted. That you have to follow. The next step, please. This cultural system can include everything from introducing rituals, symbols, written rules, unwritten rules. These are still right with us. And sometimes every fairly tales all the way to more formal etiquette and customs. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that as long as culture isn't toxic and doesn't stop progresses and improvements. But unfortunately, it often does. That next step, please. When all rituals and best practices become an excuse for status quo, it is everyone's duty to challenge it in a respectful and integrative way. Some days, these things will become as a challenge of progress of the organization. That might is respectful. Some slight modification is possible also without affecting the society and culture of the organization. That is sufficient. In many different groups, you can often hear things like, we have always done it that way. Last 50 years, we are following the same thing and we are employed. Why should we make a change? That is not the right way. When the organization is changing, we also have to adopt it. Do exactly what your superior says because they know best and so on. That should not happen. When some mistakes, we can correct our superior. Superior also has to listen to our case, subordinate. The next step, please. It is very easy to estimate the rational best practice pressure from the environment. And it is really hard to misfit who wants it to do it differently. Sometimes, some of the supervisors and some people who are doing it very early, there will be resistance to change. That should not happen. That has to be done by means of proper training and advice. No matter how good strong the tradition, there is always a way to do things better. But there are some better ways, keeping our tradition and culture like that. Otherwise, we can still be living in caves. Let's go to those places time when people are living in caves. At that time, that was the best method. After that, we have improved. We have made a lot of buildings, some houses, etc. Because of change in fashion, change in new technology, we are adopting. Now caves are unfashioned. But at that time, it was a fashion. Now it is a fashion and is to live in our best way because they have adopted sufficient changes. The change is a part of nature. Everything that currently exists and is known as best practices can be improved if you try hard enough. Depending on the change occurring in a society, how efficiently we can adopt it. That's what. Next slide, please. Discard your fixed ideas. Always keep your mind open to change. Much like society has fixed ideas about how things should be done, and it is our job to challenge them. The same way, as individuals have fixed the ideas, and we always have to challenge. Most often, we have fixed ideas about how to do things and what to value, simply because we have always done in that way. Habit is always preventing us. That should not happen. Habits has to be modified. Always keep your mind open to change. If you get fixed in your on a certain idea, start by asking yourself, what would happen if you believed or did the opposite? Then you have to make a research. Perform a mental exercise for defending the opposite belief or position. Whether it is profitable for us, if we make some changes, because this research all industrialists are doing, and all humanists doing a continuous research, how change has to be done. That management you have to adopt well. And next slide, please. You probably know the saying that real test of first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas at once and still retain the ability to function. So open your mind and discard any fixed ideas. Fixed ideas should not come. Allow our ideas to change depending on changes in the world. So next step, please. See waste and problems as opportunities. Some mistake you are committed. That has to be considered as an opportunity for improvement. Earlier, we are considering mistake as something unwanted thing, but Japanese are saying mistake as a opportunity. Once I got talked with a North Indian. He's a good businessman. I had an opportunity. I asked her, some days you will make some mistakes. He also saw the same idea. And some people are there. They are preparing those people who have failed in business. Because they have the confidence to start a new business. Such employees, such people we can employ blindly because we can train them very efficiently because their people is a high quality confident people. That people we are seeing as leaders of business, when we watch them very closely or ask them their previous history, they can see a lot of failure histories. That failure they have to convert it to opportunities. Failure we have to consider as opportunity. Don't be afraid of failures. How would you like to be placed in front of a big opportunity? A once in a lifetime chance. Would you feel a good lucky to be even in the right place in the right time? Because that is very difficult for us. The first time itself go to the right place, right time, and getting a lot of benefits. There's a lot of failures will come. Well, opportunities like that are right in front of you. You just have to see them. All big problems your company is facing are nothing but big opportunities. All the big problems in your company, when you watch and try to modify, try to change, that will act as a big opportunities for us. So next step, please. For problems has to be converted as opportunities very easily. But problems are opportunities. Problems has to be considered as to bring out solutions, to contribute value, bring out solution. Problem has to consider us. When there is problem, naturally we will try to bring out solution and to contribute value to the organization. To help us to grow and improve yourself. To help us to contribute to ideas and to help us to develop talents and consequently become better, more valuable, earn more, be more attractive, become stronger and so on. Finally, problems we have to consider as a good hand or good supporting opportunity for us to grow. The next step, please. If you want to be valuable to your company, society, family, and so on, you have to solve problems, fix things, and create value. It is that simple. Problems that are your and your organization's biggest opportunity. The more problems you see, more ideas you have. You can always turn waste into gold. Turn waste into gold is what? Efficiency. The next step, please. To develop wisdom when faced with hardship. If you want to continuously improve yourself, you need to develop more and more wisdom. For this, more knowledge we have to adopt. This advice I also got when I started my career as a project engineer. My superiors used to tell me, try to get maximum information about in your area. That will help us to grow, help you to grow. For you have to get maximum information, maximum wisdom about that. Wisdom is basically ability to think and act using knowledge. More knowledge you have, you can act well, you can think well, and the experience also will increase. Understanding, common sense, and insight. Wisdom is about deep understanding of things, incorporating tolerance for the uncertainties of life as well as ups and downs. Wisdom has to be in the ups and downs and uncertainties. That wisdom is to deep understanding of things, incorporate tolerance for the uncertainties. When there's business are coming, a lot of uncertainties. Suddenly COVID came. Or business is uncertain. Tsunami came recently in many places. Suddenly, business become uncertain. How uncertainty we can handle, that will give us a lot of opportunities. Like the story I have read someplace, two train got a crash. A train got a crash. Suddenly, it took 2 or 3 days to rectify it. An intelligent person was there. He went in, that happened in a village. Intelligent person was there. He purchased a well near to the accident place. He asked the person, 2 days or 3 days, I want this well. How much money you want? He told. So the owner told 500 rupees. People were thirsty. He started selling water. For water, 5 rupees. Per glass of water, 5 rupees. After 1 hour result, he got his 500 rupees. 3 days he sold. So much of money he got. So though it is a story, or somebody's experience, I read some business magazine. And this is the uncertainties people are making the opportunity. And it's ups and downs for the organization. We have to make this. Our wisdom will help us. So next step, please. Unfortunately or not, fastest way, if not the only way to develop wisdom is when we are faced with hardships and tough situations. When we are facing with hardships and tough situations, there will be fastest way for our growth. So you shouldn't be scared of hardship, but instead we have to be very patient, very confident during the time of hardship. But instead see it as an opportunity for the fastest improvement and growth. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. You can make good decisions based on the previous slide. You can make good decisions based on extensive experience. When we are getting more and more experience, decisions also will be very better. Better decisions can be made. You develop experience based on making bad decisions. That can be made by wisdom. Making bad decision, only that is possible. Sometimes don't be afraid of that situation. Making several bad decisions slowly leads to making good and bad decisions. You can't just be born as wise. Nobody is born as wise. Very few people. Next slide, please. By means of hard work and inputting our ideas, we are making better business person or better leaders. And we have to maintain a positive attitude. Maintaining a positive attitude is one of the most important roles of Kaizen. Only by keeping positive mind, you can see new opportunities. Because many people, what is happening is that when some hardship is coming, when some wrong aspect is coming, people get tired. That should not happen. There will be some way. But be confident. For such opportunities, there will be some opportunity to grow yourself and your organization. This hardship was faced most of the industries, all the industries have faced this hardship situation. Only by keeping positive outlook, you can also foster the motivation of implementing change and go after better organizational environments. This hardship, I can say, in experience of a story. One person was working as an assistant of the priest in England. Suddenly, their rule has come. The minimum education qualification has to be that he has to be matriculate, or poor person lost a job. Everybody took a collection and gave him 100,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds was a before him. He lost a job. He roamed through the streets with this 1,000 pounds are there, without any aim. Till date, he has not smoked a cigarette. He got a, why I can't have a cigarette? Because so much money I have in my pocket. He went to a shop, asked for a cigarette. There was no cigarette. Next shop, no cigarette. 10, 15 shops he waited, no cigarette. At that place, there was no cigarette shop. He got an idea. So much of money I have. Why can't I start a cigarette shop? He started a cigarette shop. The profit what he was getting, he was depositing in the evening counter of a bank. And he started some more shops. After some day, he started 4 or 5 shops. He became a big person of a cigarette seller. Naturally, his asset also was increasing. When the manager changed, new manager came. Manager had a look like, who are the investors? Then he observed that this person is having a lot of money. Manager called him. Why are you keeping it in a saving account? Why can't you convert it into FD, fixed deposits? You get a lot of profits, then we can give you more interest than this way. Then only our poor person was observed that he was a multi-millionaire. This news spread. Naturally, when money is increasing, he will get reputation in many societies. Many societies gave him membership. One day in a meeting, everybody has to reveal what is called a qualification. Our man also got a qualification. I'm not even a matriculate. One of his friends asked him, what happened to you? Why you are not matriculate? If you are where a matriculate, what you will be? Without matriculate, you earn so much. If you are not matriculate, what you will be? What you would have been? Can somebody answer? Can somebody answer? If he was a matriculate, what he would be? So nobody is responding. He would be the assistant of the priest. Because as he was not matriculate, he lost the job. That hardship gave an opportunity for him. He became a big business person. It's a story. You can learn a lot from this. Hardships are giving us opportunities. So next step, please. Previous slide, sir. For only keeping positive attitude, you can also foster motivation to implement change and go after better organization environment. Where there is a will, a way is always found. A positive attitude and strong hope is what fuels strong will. But without, sir, next slide. Without a positive attitude, you stop fighting. Because positive attitude is always required. Otherwise, you cannot achieve. Without a positive attitude, you don't have a positive attitude, stop fighting. You stop innovating. You become blind to opportunities and you start wasting your life. A positive attitude is always required for all a successful person. Let the hard things, bad luck, all the it come, but positive attitude is very important. So next step, please. There is always a move you can make towards improvements when the positive attitude is there. No matter how hard is the situation is. Never forget that. That is how Kaiser masters think. Kaiser masters are thinking. There is a positive attitude. We can solve all the problems. The next step, please. Sixth step. Don't make excuses and eliminate can't. When a problem is there, don't try to escape it through excuses. Think how to do it and not why it cannot be done. There is a technique in that way called why technique. When a problem is there, we can ask why many times. Japanese are asking, ask why 5 times. Example, our motor is not working. Why? Armature damaged. Why? It is old. Insulation has gone. Why? Bearing problem. Why? Bearing is not lubricated. Why? Lubricated. We forgot to purchase lubricant. First you purchase a lubricant. Lubricate well. Rectify the armature. In that way, again, it can be done. By means of asking why frequently, problem has been eliminated. Not why. It cannot be done. We cannot find excuses why it cannot be done, why the problem is there, and how it can be done. You can stay positive, accepting the situation as if it can be, believing that improvement simply is easy. Next slide, sir. Next slide. However, this mindset is completely wrong, no matter how credible an excuse exists. There is always improvement that can be made if you keep innovating hard enough. By means of keeping in mind, improvement is possible. Don't use your mental power to look for excuses as to why things cannot be done. Why things cannot be done. Eliminate can't once and for all. Start thinking about how to do it if you really want it to be done. If your mind feels trapped and you have no idea what your next step might be, and all you can see are excuses, then you might first start by unsticking your mind. These are there are hundreds and hundreds of ways how you can innovate, improve, and look for creative solutions. When there is problems are there will be hundreds and hundreds of ways you can innovate, improve, and look for creative solutions. So all the solutions, we can make creative solutions at that day. Next slide, sir. Sir, this slide, not the previous slide, sir. You can look at situation from a different angle. When problem is there, you can look for situation in a different angle. Some mistakes, when hardship is there, we can find out some mistakes has occurred. Mistakes is a natural thing. Without mistake, we cannot advance. We can look at a different angle, the same situation. You can look for simpler, faster, and cheaper solutions. You can present things better, establish new relationships, and so on. So next slide. This is possible if you have a positive attitude. If you care enough and keep your mind open, all of this is possible. Remember, your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it is open. You have to keep our mind very open. Mind is like a parachute. It will work only when it is open. Parachute when open, only it will work. So next slide, please. No, sir. So next slide, I told. Okay, sir. Creativity before capital. Do not spend money for Kaizen. Kaizen is an inbuilt activity that you should not spend so much of money for Kaizen. Use your wisdom. There are more or less two ways for finding ideas for positive thinking. There are more or less two ways for finding ideas for positive thinking. Because when problems are, we have to think in many ways. You can use money to hire people and invest in your technologies. You can invest in good people, good technologies, etc. Or you can use your own creativity. In that way, you can utilize money. No, don't waste money for Kaizen. Kaizen is a part of business. At some point, it makes sense to pay for new ideas, knowledge, and technologies. But you have to start with your own creativity. So next slide, please. So why is this? There is no way change will be implemented permanently if there is enough motivation on the table. If enough motivation is present, there will be many creative ideas for positive change. What we have to give, sufficient motivation has to be done. Motivation has to be inbuilt in the organization. We got to motivate our subordinates, but motivate everybody. That motivation will help you to enhance in that way. When a person is doing something good, that person has to be motivated. Motivation will bring the hidden talents of the person. A person who has a lot of talents with them, that can be bring together and utilize for organizations by means of proper motivation. One example of motivation we can find in Ramayana is Hanuman. Hanuman, when we went to Rameshwaram, Lanka we can see. Now also we can see Lanka when we go to Rameshwaram, that extreme place. You can see Sri Lanka is there. Hanuman has to jump from there. Hanuman was not confident to jump from India to Sri Lanka. Then Jambuan went to Hanuman. Why you are afraid for jumping this much of place? When you are a child, you went up to the sun. Then why you are hesitating? Why you are afraid of this thing? Then Hanuman recollected the story, the incident, not story, the incident. He jumped from here to there. Then this brought out the hidden talent of the person. This motivation. A motivation, by means of proper motivation, miracles can be made. There is no Indian ideas, there is probably no motivation. For proper motivation, there has to be Indian ideas. There is no motivation, no change. Change is a part of business, change is a part of nature, change is a part of everything in the world. No matter how good the experts for the technology you pay for it, things will start to collapse and everything will go to its old ways if there is enough motivation. Together with all possible persistence, resilience, consistency, and discipline. Change must always start from within. Changes has to be come from our mind itself. The next slide, please. Next slide, please, sir. Next slide, please, sir. See the wisdom of 10 people. When we are doing something, don't ask only one person. We can ask 10 people rather than the knowledge of one. Because when we are asking 10 people, 10 ideas will come. We can select the best idea. In this information, there is a rule that you got to go for best knowledge in the right way. We produce and duplicate so much of information that you can easily get lost for the advice and useless information. That is the reason. We produce and duplicate so much of information, you can easily get lost. When the information is not correct, we will lose a lot. We can duplicate it. Your duplication is more, especially service industries. Now we are facing a situation. Service industries are superseding the product industries. That is why India is also progressing. We are expert in service industries, especially nursing, hospital, computer, software, many ways. We are experts. That's why we are progressing a lot. And government is also supporting a lot. Central government is supporting us so much for development. Especially we are expert in service industries, their support. That is a motivation for investors to invest more and more in service industries. And service can be easily duplicated by our competitors. You can be very vigilant. And we also are doing this reverse engineering in that way. We have to keep some hidden aspects in that way for that our services should not be duplicated so easily. Next step, please. For that, we have to adopt the information from many people. Many experts we have to adopt and take the best decision. So you have the opportunity to picky about what information you consume, what information you require. Nevertheless, you should never seek the knowledge of only one person because world is changing so much. And all products we can buy from any place. We can avail a product from USA. Because of globalization, any product can be procured from any place. So we are challenging with the global competitors. Earlier also competition was there. When the competition started, we can say, everybody can say when the competition started, 10 years back, 20 years back, 30 years back. But at the time of business started, competition was there. After the industrial revolution, competition become the attention of many people. The competition started at the time when business was started, competition was also there. I started a company manufacturing fan. When somebody observed that Competition will be there. Therefore, competition we cannot avoid in the business. When there is profit is coming, competition will arise. And the service industry, competition is more. For everyone has their own. Therefore, nevertheless, you should never seek the knowledge of only one person. Everyone has their own interpretation of the world and is subject to reality, and everyone sees the situation from different angles. So next step, please. The more angles you understand, the closer you get, and the objective reality is the truth. Consequently, you better understand the problem and what needs to be done. In addition, more ideas you receive, the easier you can integrate them and innovate further. When there is more ideas, we can go to better decisions. Therefore, more angles you understand the problem, closer you can get the objective and reality of the problem. The next step, please. Therefore, understand the data and working principles be data driven. Every change must be data driven. Don't make any blind change. All the change must be based on some facts and based on some data. You somehow have to measure whether you have really found the new way to do the things better, but you do all the changes in a confident way. You can't just assume, because incorrect assumptions are the mother of disasters. All the incorrect decisions are the mother of disasters. You must be obsessed with the data, dashboards, metrics, and measuring while making improvements. You can improve only the things that you measure. And there has to be a proper measuring instrument. You cannot manage anything which you cannot measure something. That is given by Kaplan and Norton. They found the technique of balance scorecard. Whatever you want to improve, whatever you have to manage, there has to be a proper performance measurement instruments. Then only we can make sufficient improvements. Without proper measurement, we cannot improve. So next step, please. So next slide. Next slide, sir. You must always know the previous slide. Previous slide, sir. No, sir. Next slide. Okay, sir. Correct. You must always know what exactly you are trying to improve, on which metrics that improvement is based. Metrics means the aspect or performance or instrument on which we are making some improvements. When implementing new positive change, it should always be in connection with one's metrics that matters most certain time in a certain situation. Don't make blind improvements. It's based on some positive aspect. The fact is, you always have to put data before rhetoric when implementing changes. That is positive attitude. You have to be very confident that by means of this change, this improvement is possible. By proper sensitivity analysis, this change is possible. This we have done, this improvement is done. In that way, manager has to be committed. The next slide. Next slide, sir. So next slide, please. Learn by taking action. This is called validated learning. You can learn most by doing things. This is called Genji Gambatsu, or Japanese one, leaving the building in English. By means of this doing things only, we can learn something. You can read 100 books. I want to be an efficient manager. I read 100 books on how to swim, or I want to swim. I read 100 books on swim, but I cannot swim. Provided I could go to a river or pond or sea and try to learn swim. That many people have this experience. While doing my PhD in IIT, I have observed many people long to swim but don't know how to swim. They just make its own trial till we become a good swimmer. You can't implement change based on only on theoretical knowledge, but practical knowledge only is possible. You must become a master of a validated learning and superior insight into how things work. Sir, next slide, please. So choose a simple solution, not a perfect one. The problem is there, first take a simple solution. Perfect solution is very hard to get. Simplicity is always better than complexity. That simple solution will help us to conquer the problem. Implement the change is harder, and implementing complex change is even harder. You are not close and it's impossible. Therefore, choose a simple solution you can start implementing immediately. A successfully implemented small change will motivate you to implement newer and bigger change. That will help us to make bigger changes throughout the organization and make us our organization a profitable one. Sir, next slide, please. By doing so, you will increase your capacity and stamina for more complex change. Small progress can always lead to bigger progress, but in beginning, forget about big steps and start small. Choose simple solutions to start with. Never be afraid to progress slowly in the beginning, only by afraid of stopping. Do it right way, even if you only aim 50% target. I don't want to make so much of changes. I want 50% target only. But whatever you are doing, that has to go in the right way. When new ways do things come to mind, you should immediately try them and measure the results. If you aim at 50% target, it works. Now, finally, 100% is within reach. By 50% is working, 100% is within reach. The important thing that you take first step. In addition, when you make the first step with the implementation, you start observing, learning, and getting feedback from the environment. You gain the ability to adjust your strategy according to your forces in the environment. It is more probable that you will get to 100% if you first aim to at 50% and then adjust based on feedback. 100% very difficult to achieve. But 50% very easy to achieve and adjust based on feedback. Then, if we aim at 100% with the board and overly complex solutions, when we are targeting 100%, solution will be complex. But with 50%, based on our footstep, we can try to achieve 100%. This we can observe throughout our industrial experience. Then, sir, next slide. No, sir, some more slides, sir. Please go. Some more slides, sir. Please, sir. No, sir, next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, sir. If you make a mistake, sir, imagine you made a mistake on the way. Correct it in the right way. Mistakes are a part of the journey. When innovating and improving things, you constantly make mistakes. That's an unavoidable part. Without mistake, you cannot win. You constantly fail and discover options that they don't work. You probably don't know how many attempts you were necessary before the bulb was invented. When Edison invented bulb, he attempted more than a lot of attempts were made. After that, only that was achieved. One more story I have heard of him. One day, his factory got on fire. At that time also, he was so desperate. He called his wife, children, etc. See the situation. Throughout your life, you cannot see the situation. But I will innovate. That is a confidence of that person. That attempts were failing, but he again tried. Finally, he won. Sir, next slide, please. When improving yourself, you will make mistakes. You will find ways that don't work, and you will find ways that are less efficient than your current ones. You will be frustrated at that time, and power will be tested, and willpower will be tested. And that time we can test your willpower. That willpower should not go. Sir, next slide. But mistakes and failures are not to be feared. We should not fear in that situation. Failure is an integral part of every success. That being said, there is one important rule to be considered, and there is no corrective of mistake. You should correct your mistakes in the right way. So the next slide. Don't let mistakes grow and turn into something that is uncontrollable and unmanageable. We should not allow mistakes to grow at that time. We have to take some action plan for correcting it. At that time, mistakes will not become uncontrollable and unimaginable. Have the courage to admit you have made a mistake and correct immediately. That is our power. Always do damage control. So next slide, please. Kaizen is endless. We'll ask how long Kaizen has to be implemented. Kaizen is a never-ending continuous process. It's an endless process. The test being about Kaizen is that it is endless. No matter how many changes you have already implemented, there is always a way to do it better. There is always a way to improve something. There is no such thing as practice. That's next slide. There is no such a thing as practice, and there is no such thing as being on the top. You should strive for nothing else but constant improvement at the way to your last breath. At the last breath, you have to go constant improvement. Imagine how life will be in the 50, 100, and 500 years, full of evolutions and revolutions in vast improvement. Yes, next slide. And there is another important factor in that environments are constantly changing for the better with the new technologies, new processing, etc. If you stop improving, you start lagging behind. Your aim should be to improve faster than environment. Think about, next slide. Think about what would happen if Apple stopped improving and stopped releasing new products just because they are the most valuable company on the planet. They should obviously go for business in few years. So never stop improving. Have fun while implementing improvements. Take as a fun while improvement is implementing. Last but not last, this you must have fun implementing positive change. It must become a part of your character, part of your organizational culture. You have to stay lean, agile, adaptive. Always look at for improvements and all the while not forgetting to have fun. The work improvement has to be taken as a fun. Through that, some more things are there. You have to be lean. Only do it only what is required. That only has to be done. Otherwise, it will be waste. Agile. Depending on changing customer and the market, changes has to be done. Adaptive means adjustive. Technology has to be adaptive. And always look for improvements. All the while, not forgetting to have fun. Not forgetting to have fun. This is improvement has to be made as a fun. Next slide, sir. If you don't find fun in changing yourself and improving your organization, Kaizen is nothing but struggle. If you are not making us a fun, Kaizen is a struggle and hard work, which nobody wants. We don't want struggle and hard work, but keep it as a fun. With a positive approach, pride in the improvements, we have to be pride in our achievements. You have made the ability to see everything as a challenge. Kaizen can be fun. When something is fun, we want to do it more. When Kaizen we are adopting as a fun, that will motivate us to have it more. So next, the key takeaway from Kaizen principle is even 1% of improvement is fine. We are getting only 1% improvement. That is fine for me. I can still improve. Implementing any kind of positive change start with the right mindset. I can still improve. Among individuals, teams, and the organization's collective as a whole. But often, nobody really likes change. I don't want change. Change nobody likes. Even if they say they do. but naturally we have to adopt it for our existence. Sir, next slide. No, sir, some slide you have crossed more. Previous slide. Previous slide. Okay, sir. However, that shouldn't stop you from innovating and finding better ways to things in your organization. That you have to always find it. And to finding better ways to do things in your organization. You must become the light of positive change, a person with a Kaizen mindset. You must inspire your coworkers and other business partners to achieve the same. Not only us, everybody also we have to motivate and inspire. So next slide, please. And if your mindset gets stuck, and you should immediately replace this Kaizen. Observing that this Kaizen is not working, some other Kaizen will be there. You can make it. Unstick yourself and restart yourself for improvement. The improvement of your people around you and the improvement of your organization will help us to measure the progress in this may and ensure whether some change has to be done. But next slide. No matter how hard the situation is to be, known as Sengai, a master of Kaizen in your organization. The end is that 1% improvement is fine as long as you keep going. Next slide, sir. We are discussing on lean manufacturing. Next slide, sir. Lean manufacturing is a systematic elimination of waste. As the name implies, lean is focused at cutting the fat from production services. Cut the unwanted fat from our, remove the unwanted fat from our body by means of exercise. Like that, unwanted things has to be removed from the organization. That is called lean, and we have to make our organization lean. The same by means of, I am very fat, I decided to reduce my fat. I started doing exercise. In that way, I became lean. Like that, our organization is also becoming lean by means of eliminating the unwanted things, eliminating waste. It has to be successfully applied to administrative and engineering activities as well. The next slide. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Sir, next slide, please. Sir, next slide. Sir, next slide. Although lean manufacturing is a relatively new stream, many of the tools used in lean can be traced back to Frederick F.W. Taylor. That you study. Taylor was famous for time study and Gilbert was famous for motion study. That can be traced back to from the lean activity. Taylor told by means of time, unwanted things can be eliminated. By means of proper movements, unwanted things can be eliminated. There is where we can start the concept of lean. That lean has become the package some well-respected industrial manufacturing engineering practices, a system that can work virtually at any environment. Sir, next slide. No, sir, previous slide. Lean manufacturing, we can say, a way to eliminate waste and improve efficiency in manufacturing environment. Lean manufacturing is a production process based on an ideology of maximizing productivity while simultaneously minimizing the waste within a manufacturing operation. Lean principle sees waste is anything that doesn't add value that customers are willing to pay for. Benefits of lean manufacturing include reduced lead times and operating costs and improved product quality. How does lean manufacturing work? Sir, next slide, please. The core principle implementing lean manufacturing is to eliminate waste, to continuously improve process. The types of waste include process activities of products or services that require time, money, or skills, but do not create value for customer. Removing this inefficiency should streamline services, reduce cost, and ultimately provide savings for specific products or services to supply chain to customer. So next slide, please. Therefore, removing the inefficiency to streamline our services and reduce cost and ultimately provide savings to specific product service to supply chain. And we got to make our supply chain more robust. Then naturally it will be more profitable. The previous slide. Why lean manufacturing is important? The previous slide. That is waste in an industry, whether that is idle workers, poor processes, or unused material are a drain on productivity. And lean manufacturing is to eliminate this. The motives behind this vary depending on option from increasing the profits to provide benefits to your customer. There are four key benefits to lean manufacturing. One is eliminate waste. Waste is a negative factor for cost, deadlines and resources, and it provides no value to products and services. There should not be a waste. Second is improve quality. Improved quality allows companies to become competitive and meet the changing needs and wants of customers. So quality helps us to be competitive, stay competitive, and meet the changing wants and needs of the customers. Designing processes to meet these expectations and decisions to keep you ahead of the competition, keeping quality improvement at the forefront. Next is reducing cost. Overproduction or having more materials than is required creates storage cost. When you are procuring so much of raw material, that will give us storage cost, and we have paid money also earlier. To overproduction also, we have to keep our finished products on a storage. That is costly for us, which can be reduced to better process and materials management. Reducing time. Wasting time on inefficient working practices is a waste of money too. While more efficient practices create shorter lead times and allow for goods and services to be delivered faster. Origin of lean manufacturing. Sir, next slide. Sir, next slide. Sir, next slide. Okay, sir. Origin of lean manufacturing can be straight to Toyota production system, which was existing in Japan. That started by Toyota motor companies. The name was E.G. Toyota and Tichu Ohno are given a credit approach for this innovation. You can trace from they made a system called Toyota production system. There should not be any waste, or whatever we are doing, that has to be value added. Principles of lean were first introduced in the book The Machine That Challenged the World by James P. Wombat.
Hello, sir. Pramod, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we are left with another 10 minutes, sir.
10 minutes you have to finish, sir. Okay, sir.
Please find out by 5 minutes.
10 minutes you will finish, sir.
Yeah, let us give 5 minutes for any questions from the participant.
Okay, 5 minutes I will finish, sir.
Thank you very much.
The authors studied several manufacturing systems and wrote the book based on their observations at Toyota. That we are calling as Toyota Production System, or TPS, was established by two companies. The first is called Jikoda, which means that when there is a problem that occurs, equipment stops immediately and preventing defective products from being produced. Second is called just in time. We will run it fast. Something I want to show you. This is called a Toyota production system. Two pillars are there. One is just in time and second is Jikoda. That is continuous flow. That there is a tag time and full system we are adopting. And Jikoda stop and notify the abnormalities and separate human work and machine work. And some this based on a pillar of stability. Standard of work, Kaizen, and the goal is highest lower quality short lead time that we are achieving. With the Jikoda, Equipment stops when problem arises. This allows single worker to visually monitor and efficiently control the machine. As problems arise, workers must solve them the right way, otherwise whole production will stop. But at the beginning itself, you have to solve it. As it is told, I will show you, have a run. Let me see. Timeline is here. Principles of lean manufacturing asset. This is based on 5 principles. Identify the value, map the value, create a flow, establish pull, and seek performance. Something I will quickly. In lean manufacturing, there we have 7 lean manufacturing. Here are 8 lean. There are 3 M's are also there. That is Muda, Muri, and Muri. There are 7 forms of waste are there.
Hello, sir.
So I am just going through these things. Because 5 minutes you told me to finish.
Yes, sir.
Just shall I wind up, sir? Because you give the participant to ask the questions. Is it okay, sir?
Is it okay, sir? Fine, sir.
Okay. Now participants can ask the questions.
Dear participants, we are at the end of session 2. Any questions if you want to ask with the speaker, please unmute yourself. There is a provision provided to unmute yourself and you can ask questions. Any questions from the participants?
Sir, how just in time any standard training program is available, sir, to implement the manufacturing disease?
No, there is no time frame is there. You can, if you want just in time, you can implement tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the thing that I am running a company manufacturing fans, 500 fans I am producing. I will tell some suppliers to bring fan for 500 fans. Evening I am telling my customers to take my fans. Tomorrow also you can implement.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, what's the core difference between lean and JIT?
Lean means only lean says that just in time means only there is no storage. Lean means that whatever we are producing, that has to be value added. Whatever activities we are doing, that has to be value added. No waste. JIT says for waste in storage. It is concentrated mainly on that. There is no inventory storage. Today we want to produce 500 fans. Tell the customer suppliers to bring 500 items for 500 fans and telling the customer to take my 500 fans, finished products. But other thing says that throughout the organization, whatever value activities we are doing, that has to be value added. Then small value also will do. No waste. Waste can occur in many ways in the organization. Waste for human movements, waste for instruction, waste for lack of instruction, waste for adjustment of machinery. All things have to be minimized. That is lean manufacturing. And we are adopting many parts of the Coimbatore industry. We can adopt. Those people doesn't know also they are practicing. Once I have done during my research activities, I have made some surveys in that regard. Though people doesn't know, they are trying to adopt. One day we explained these things, they are ready to adopt it. Any other doubts, sir?
Any other questions?
Please ask. I am very happy. If I don't know, I will refer and tell you. Queries are giving us some opportunity to make my talk better.
Okay, sir.
Thinking that everybody is benefited from my talk, shall we wind up, sir?
Definitely, sir. The speech throughout the session was more informative. I'm very happy to share with us that their promoter has given a valuable session.